Alright, part 3 for my review of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. If you haven't seen Part 1 and Part 2 of this review, go check those out. So, now they head off to Xenophilius Lovegood because basically they've realized that, the Deathly Hallows sign is everywhere. It's on the grave of the Peverils, is it Peverils? Sounds right. It's in Hermione's book. They remember Xenophilius had the sign on it, so they go there. They talk with them, basically ask them about it, and this is where the movie kind of... And remember, at this point, because, since I had read on where the movie supposedly ends, which it didn't, by the way, I was like, okay, we're getting close to the end here, which didn't make sense, so I was wondering how they're going to fill in the gap, and they fill in the gap pretty nicely with this story. So, obviously, the Deathly Hallows story, we learn about the Peveril brothers, how they got the 3 Hallows, and they go off and do this animation thing, which is actually kind of cool. And it just shows, the 3 guys, they make the bridge, they talk with death, they blah, blah, blah. It was pretty cool. It seemed to be, again, kind of pushing it, like it was a nice long scene. But, so they eventually get through the story, and I was kind of hoping for the whole Hermione being, like, hey, these obviously can't exist, blah, blah, blah. But at this point, Xenophilius is very paranoid, really. He's, they've already taken Luna, so he's just, kind of bad acting, really. It felt like it. It's like, because, they decide they need to leave, and he's like, oh, you can't leave, and he yells it. I'm like, you serious? Because again, in the book, he signaled, or he called the Death Eaters somehow. And this, he just says Voldemort, because obviously Voldemort's got the name's got the taboo on it, so it just says Voldemort and Death Eaters are instantly upon them. Don't really know how that works, but whatever. So, like, they're not like they apparate there. They're flying in the smoke thing, which is irritating because obviously, if you guys don't know, the flying smoke is supposed to be apparating somehow. I don't get that either. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I checked the wiki on this before, and this is back in the 5th movie. They said that the whole flying black and white smoke was them apparating, but we've already seen apparition as well. They've changed it a lot, so it's just hard to tell what's supposed to be real and what's not. So, I mean, because like Voldemort's the only one that's supposed to be able to fly and actually attack people, and yet these people are just flying around black smoke attacking. It's an irritating thing that they did, because they can't say, oh, they're apparating, but we know what apparition looks like. We've seen it. They've showed it in both the 6th and 7th movies now. But anyway, I digress. So, they attack, Harry, Ron, and Hermione apparate away, and this is where the Snatchers come in. Snatchers just pop out of fucking nowhere, of course, because they didn't say Voldemort's name at all. That's what they did in the book. In the book, they were in a tent, and Harry's just talking. He says Voldemort an accident. Ron says no, and then the Snatchers appear out of nowhere, of course, because apparently anyone who says the name, they instantly get apparated there or something. There's a nice little chase scene. And this is where I thought it was going to end, because that's where the quote said they were supposed to end it, but it continues on for a nice bit while. So it continues on. They get caught. Hermione uses the stinger hex or whatever on Harry, so he doesn't look like Harry at all. He kind of does, just kind of looks bloated. So they capture him. They bring him to the Malfoys. And I'm getting to a creepy part here. This part was just like over the top for me. I don't know why. So they go there, and they're trying to figure out if it's Harry or not. The funny thing is, you can see Ron and Hermione easily, so obviously it's Harry. I don't know why they thought it wasn't. I mean, they sit there and they have Draco come in. They're like, oh, come here, boy, tell me if it's Harry Potter. It's like, you have his friends, Hermione and Ron, right there. I'm pretty sure you can tell that it's Harry, but they eventually, and then Bellatrix sees that one Snatchers has that sword, and she goes all crazy about it. And so, and I'll get into that in a second, but so then they send Harry and Ron down to the prison cell thing or whatever, and this is where she decides to torture Hermione. Not much of torture, more of just kind of, I don't even know. It was just weird, but all you hear is screaming, and it was just like, wow, it actually does sound like torture. It's like the first time they show her and Hermione, she's like kind of like on top of Hermione, just asking her how how she got into her vault and everything, and Hermione's like already acting as if she's being tortured. I'm like, she's just on top of you, not that big of a deal. But then she starts supposedly torturing her. It looked like she was just kind of like stabbing her hand or something, but you eventually find out that she was carving letters or something into her arm. It was just weird, but there's just the screaming was just wow, kind of irritating, and yet you could tell that she's in pain. It was weird, and it went on for too long. But eventually, Dobby appears, takes Luna and Ollivander off to Floor and Bill's. They come back, and this part annoyed me too, because this is the part where Pettigrew's supposed to kill himself, or his hand, betrays him and kills. Basically, his hand strangles Pettigrew, or strangles himself. Yeah, that should work. In this one, Dobby just appears, or he's like, "Oh, meet me at the top of the stairs." Pettigrew comes down, then he gets stunned, and that's it. And then they leave, and then they do the whole fight scene, which wasn't too bad. It was meh. And I really don't remember how Dobby died in the book. I can't remember, but in this one, as they apparate away, obviously by now you should know when they apparate away, they kind of like, it's that weird spiral thing into nothingness. Well, as soon as they, apparate, Bellatrix throws, I thought she threw her wand, it looked like it, but apparently it was a knife, and it just does the slow motion thing of the knife, and the apparition thing, and then it goes right into it, and so it apparates with them somehow. Stupid, but whatever. And she just kind of like, she looks on and like kind of smirks a bit. That's about it. So then we see everyone at the cottage, and we see Dobby is basically dying because he got stabbed. And this scene I actually cried at because it was weird, because like Harry's, he's yelling at Hermione to get the stuff from her bag, and Hermione and Ron are just sitting there. I'm like, wow, you guys could have saved him. Congrats, you failed. And then Dobby's just happy. He's like, hey, I'm with friends, and so he dies peacefully. Kind of. He died from a stab, but I mean, it was just a damn emotional scene. I give him credit for that one. So Harry does this whole, I want to give him a burial, no magic, blah blah blah. And then we switch off to, or they do the whole burial thing, then they switch off to Voldemort. He is opening Dumbledore's tomb. He opens, or he destroys it to get it open. Takes the wand. He's happy that he's got the wand. Shoots huge lightning into the air, and then boom, movie's done. There you go. I just gave the whole movie to you in less than half an hour. No, it was a good movie. I was kind of rushing in the last two videos because I kind of forgot a little bit of it, but I'm pretty sure I touched just about everything. It was, like I said, it was a great movie. I cannot wait for part 2 now. I definitely recommend you go see it. And that's about it. That's all I got for you guys. I feel like a broken record, but it was an amazing movie. 10 out of 10, easy. I would recommend go see it. And I know that somebody from Free Frag said that, this movie, if you haven't seen the others or read the books, then you wouldn't understand it. I'm sorry, but if you're going into the 7th Harry Potter movie and you've never seen the other movies or you've never read the books, you are an idiot. This isn't a movie. If you've never seen anything Harry Potter or read anything Harry Potter, going into one of the final movies is just a stupid move. Don't do it. Because, yeah, you won't understand a thing. But it was a very good movie. 10 out of 10. And that's my review for you guys. Massive spoilers for you. And I'll see you guys in the near future.